Hello, YouTubers. Hey, Saturday morning. So I figured I'd do something different today. I'd come out in the shop and do something for myself instead of for everybody else. We worked late last night. Didn't get out of here until probably, I guess it was 7:45. So I got up with the intentions of not doing much today, but hey, the heck with it. It's not a bad morning. It's probably plus 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. It's a little bit on the chilly side, but it's dry out. But tomorrow we're supposed to get up to plus 7 degrees with a lot of rain. So I guess we'll be in the housebound tomorrow, or to the malls like everybody else. So anyway, what I intended on doing this morning is just come out and fool around out here, so I figured I'd do a little bit of taping just to take you along, let you see what I got in mind. Somebody was talking about the barrel and supporting this pump. Well, there's a little bit of play in that coupler that we put in yesterday. That's no big deal. That's normal. And but the top of these are very, very thick, so it really don't need a support on the pump. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it don't. But we're going to do one anyway. And the reason why we're going to do one is because I want to show you how I bend the aluminum. I don't think I've shown that before. And also, I want to make a plug to go in here, so when the pump is up, we can just make a plug to go down. Hang on a second, I'll go get what I have in mind and show you. Now I know that you can buy these things with a cap on them, but at the Princess Auto Store they didn't have any. So what I'm going to do, I already got this bought, so I'm just going to take it and put it in the lathe. I'm going to use a boring bar and just take the tread out here, and then I'm going to put a cap on it, and I'm just going to TIG weld it in, maybe machine it, I don't know, we'll see. And then that'll be the cap, because eventually that's going to have to be transported so I can get, hang on folks, so you can see me, so I can put fuel in it. So once the pump comes in, you just can't leave it open, so this is going to just act as a cap. So that's all I got planned on doing today. I'm quite pleased with the outcome. This really made things go easy and quick, and of course it's going to work quite well. See if I can tip this down and show you. The base is one that I bought at Princess Auto, oh my gosh, maybe 3 years ago. It comes with its own bone and its own wrenches and stuff, and of course you can put it in different areas here, so you can tow it around, but it's low to the ground, and that's what I like about it. It's very easy to put the barrel back on. So eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this barrel with a strap and stuff on it, and probably a hook, so that when I do go to get it filled up, I'll just pick it up by the hook and lay it in the truck, go fill it up, come back and take it down with the forklift, and voila, it'll remain on this all the time. So that's a future plan. But for right now, I'm just probably going to support this and finish this, and then we'll call that a video. So let's get over to the lathe and see what we can do with this. Well, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a circle to make the stopper. So I kind of cheat at this a little bit, so I'm going to cut it off in the Edwards iron worker first, so we'll get to that. I'm going to have the guard up out of place, so don't do as I do as I say, and never use these things without the guard in place. Again, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so we're going to chop here first. Get you closer to the scene there, folks. of scrap metal, I'm using aluminum. Now normally I would machine this on the lathe, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Milwaukee grinder, just going to grind it down a little bit, and then we might have to take a little bit of thread off there so it'll fit in, and then we can start the TIG welding. So Kathy has gone to get her hair done and possibly shopping, I don't know. So by the time she gets back I might have to sell the fuel I picked up this week to pay the bills. LOL. Like I say, this don't have to be very, the tolerance on this don't have to be very fine, put it to you that way. So we just want to get it in there as close as we can just to make a stopper. And the welding, matter of fact, it's almost as good, probably won't even have to take any of it down. I'll take some of it down just to show you. The old lathe is a bit dirty, we haven't had a chance to clean it up. It's, we had some jobs come in the other night, a couple of small jobs, so we never really got a chance to clean it up. So what does one do? It's not too dirty, I've seen it much worse than that. That should more than take care of it. There it is. It didn't take much, but there it is. I basically just gave it a little shoulder to sit on. Some of these things, you know, done with lathes don't have to be that precise. People like you to believe they are, but a lot of times it's just a matter of digging in and getting it done. Okay, I'll move the tripod and all so you can see what I got done here. I got the Dynasty out here now, ready to go. Hang on, I'll see if I can get a better picture. This is still on the tripod, see folks. That is a cart that I built for it a few years back. We call it the Crazy Cart. If you look down below, it's got a spare tire and it's got a Newfoundland license plate and a bumper and steel fenders and an exhaust system and all that stuff. I'll put the link to the video where the cart was made so you guys can see how it was done, just in case some didn't see it. And we'll come back over here again and we'll get ready now to do that small little job. See if I can get this set up. Boy, I miss my photographer, I'll tell you, big time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check and see how my electrode is doing. Well, that's a good end. See if it'll focus. And that's the end that I've been using, so it's time to sharpen that. So just in case you guys didn't know how to sharpen a tungsten, I'm going to show you. There's actually a tool for that. Now some people can use grinders, bench grinders and stuff. If you're going to use a bench grinder, you don't want to sharpen it up against the stone that way. You should sharpen it up against the stone this way. In other words, go up towards the stone, because what happens is if you go sideways, you'll cut grooves in it and it won't work properly. So, but I like to use a special dedicated tungsten grinder, and I'll just show you what's involved. Once you get the grinder set up, you pretty well leave it set up. You can set the angle on it through the head, and it comes with different pieces and stuff. And you just basically turn it on, and you put it in, and you twist it. And then you can see it's starting to really show up nice. The profile is taking place good. And yeah, I'll call that good enough. They don't have to be terribly too sharp. This is a great little grinder, because if you happen to touch it off on the metal when you're welding and you get a little knob on it, you shouldn't try to grind it out. What you should do is just cut the tip off it and start to grind again. And there's a slot here, and if you look, there's a diamond wheel in there. You can just put it in there and cut it off and go back and actually grind it again. So I just thought I'd show you that, just in case there were people out there saying, "My, I wonder how he ever got that tungsten so sharp as that." I told one guy I used to use an old pencil sharpener, and he believed me, so I figured I better tell you guys the truth. Yeah, so that tungsten, by the way, it's pretty well served its life. It's just about done. It's short, so, but they last a long time. And I'm going to get ready now and see if I can get that weld, to see if I can get it at a better angle for you. Don't want to get it too close in case there's a splatter or something. Okay, now this was a, hang on, I got to turn this around so I can see if you're looking at me. This was a full complete rod, and what I like to do is I like to cut them in two pieces and shorten them up. And why do I do that, you ask? Is because if you leave it long and you have somebody around the shop and they happen to be around too close to you, you could actually poke their eye out with the long one. So this keeps it kind of under control. What I'm going to do there now is you can hear the welder buzzing, but I'm going to turn on the water cooler, and that's going to travel up here, and you can see there's a bunch of hoses and stuff in here, and the coolant comes up to the torch, cools it down, and recirculates back into the system, and it gets filtered. So I'm going to turn on that cooler now, so that's what you're going to hear when it comes to the noise. So we're not going to be fancy with this. Welding something round is a bit tricky, but we're going to get her done. I got to get my ground cable plugged in. This is it when you're trying to run a camera and trying to do your work. You kind of lose your train of thought, because I'm placing more emphasis on the camera than I am on the work, to be honest with you. Okay, let's try this again. Like I say, nothing fancy, we're just going to it. The buzzing that you hear, that's That's welding in pulse mode. Like I say, nothing fancy, just get her done. As you can see, it gets hot quick. Now, I didn't clean this or anything. I didn't brush it off with a stainless steel brush or whatnot. I just went ahead and took it right from the junkyard there to that. So that's just a fast look at how it turned out. Now I'm going to turn off my pulse, and I'm going to, can you still see it? Yeah. I'm going to turn off my pulse, and I'm just going to chase it over with the torch again and smoothen it out. And I'll show you what it looks like then. Just want to make sure it gets good penetration. So you don't want to stick your lips on that now. Okay. Let me see now, show you what that is. Just basically smoothens it out. Like I say, I'm not being really, well, of course I'm not being particular at all with this, to be honest with you. If this was for a customer, I'd have that machined and polished and whatnot. But is just a kind of a rough old job of it type of thing. So that's a stainless steel brush just to clean it up. Now if I wanted to, I could take that in and machine it down on the lathe and make a nice stopper for it, but that's going to be plenty sufficient for what I need it for. So we're going to put this ring on the end of it. And that's how it's going to look. And we're going to go over here. And we're going to put it on here like that. So we'll know where it's to when it comes time to use it. So now we'll move on to the bracket. Okay, we're going to make a simple rest for this pump. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to roughly mark out the lines where it's got to be bent. I'm going to use this to get my angles right. And not going to spend a lot of time at it, just something really rough. A lot of things in the shop don't have to be real fancy, just as long as they work. So, going to get to it. I'm going to use a torch to preheat it. Now, there is a trick to heating aluminum. Fellows will ask me, how do you know, sorry about the candy guys, how do you know how much heat to put on aluminum? Because if you don't heat it, it'll crack. Well, there's actually a trick. And the trick is to use oxygen acetylene and use a lot more acetylene on the torch than oxygen. And what you do is you soot up this line here, you soot it all up. Then you set your torch up where you'll just get heat. And you keep heating it and heating it and heating until the black soot burns away. And when that black soot burns away, that's when it's perfect time to do the bend. And you can bend that thing almost in a circle then without cracking it. But today I'm not going to get the oxygen acetylene out because, for one thing, it creates a lot of soot in the ear. I don't like soot, and it's really not that important to do it that way. So I'm going to leave the camera there on the tripod, and I'll probably speed up the process during the editing. So let's get to it. Okay, the bracket is made. Let's have a look now and see. Let's have a look and see how it fits. So there is a bit of movement in it, but that's in the coupling more so than the barrel. So let's see now. That's kind of neat. Yeah, it's simple, but it works. I think what I'll do is put some Velcro on it. I think that would work good. I gotta get a pair of scissors. Sometimes just making stuff from scrap, kind of cool too. This is Velcro I pick up at at Princess Auto. You can buy it in rolls. It's pretty good. Yeah. And it gets a lot of use. So that'll help keep it in place. Because you really don't want to be trying to weld it to the barrel, do you? So I'll take whoa, that stuff is sticky. Holy smokes. Put that there. And I'll put that there. Like that. We'll peel that off shortly. We'll get another couple of pieces here. Yeah, that's 1/4 by 1 inch aluminum flat bar that I use there. We usually have a good bit of that on hand for our customers because they're always wanting something fabricated. Sometimes we have a bit of a stainless, but stainless is a bit overkill for here. Or at least I think it was. Now in the meantime, if there had to be stainless over there, I probably would have used it. Whatever was in the scrap bucket there, that's what tend to be used. And there's nothing wrong with using it if it's scrap. Somebody came in one day and said, if you got any scrap metal left over, I'll take it off your hands. Boy, there's not much here in scrap metal anytime because they usually utilize it for everything. There's always a use for it. Now, what end was what? Of course, you know I'm going to pick the wrong side. Holy smokes, does that stuff ever stick? Oh. There it is. You know what? I think that's pretty cool. It's simple, yet effective. And over time, I don't know what'll happen in the heat, but over time, it may sag down because it's not supported. This way it's a good insurance policy. And with regards to the tank itself, probably only going to be using it for a year or so, probably till next summer. I might build an aluminum tank. Or I may take this tank and find another steel drum to go around it. So it'll be, if anything ever happened to the drum, it would have a place for it to go. But I really think that I'll probably be building a custom fuel tank. So, but yeah, I think that's a couple of, well, I think that's an hour's of decent work. Worked out okay for me anyway. Hey, before I go, a guy by the name of Frank Hartwig asked me about my extension cords. He said, I've noticed your extension cords are folded nice on the wall. And he said, maybe it could be a tip, there must be a trick to it. Well, I've seen people roll up extension cords something terrible, like I'm doing there now. My son is one of them. Just absolutely terrible when it comes to rolling up cords. So, believe it or not, Each cord got its own personality. That's the only way that I can describe it. And when you pick it up, you'll feel what way it wants to go. So we'll just, this is quite a long cord, this particular one. Now I could go like that, but I know that's not the proper way. It don't feel right. So I'll take it and I'll twist it. Just a twist like that. Same thing here. I know that it's not right the way it wants to go. So I'll twist it with my hand again. Sometimes you might want to take the cord and shake it like that. Sometimes you'll twist it like this. Whatever way works, but you can put it in. You try to keep your loops as close to the same length as possible. And hopefully you can do it nice. Sometimes it don't always turn out perfect. Sometimes it turns out pretty good. So this one is pretty wound up. I try to really keep it as straight as I can when I'm doing it. And that way it turns out half decent. That's about a 20-foot cord. So Frank, thanks for the suggestion. That's basically how I do it. It looks simple, and it is simple, but it takes a little bit of practice. It is what it is. So thanks for the suggestion. Okay, folks, that's it. That's only a little short video to show you what I was up to on a Saturday morning. Hey, it's better than sitting in watching TV. I go out of my mind watching TV sometimes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Hard to do it when you're by yourself, but anyway, it is what it is. And hopefully Kathy will come back with a new hairdo and everything will be all psychedelic. So we'll see you in the next video, folks. You guys take care. I guess the Christmas rush is on officially today. The malls will be packed solid and people will be going around like the chickens with their heads cut off. So you guys be careful out there and don't text and drive, because it's only to take your eyes off the road for a second. And you could, your life could be ended, or somebody else's life could be ended. So be careful out there, folks. You guys take care, and God bless.